So people, back on the Facebook Live or the Instagram story, if you're watching it there. So this is the video I promised to do, all about vulnerability, and I think it's an important topic to breach from a human standpoint as well as a health standpoint, because there's lots that can be learned from showing your vulnerability, and I 100% think that showing your vulnerability is indeed a strength. It's not a weakness at all. Now, I'm going to build up to this, but as you go through, or the more I'll talk about my experiences, what I've learned in my studies as well, in terms of Chinese medicine, Indian Ayurvedic medicine. People that don't share their emotions or show their vulnerability oftentimes can get problems along the chakras where that energy is stored. For example, in Ayurvedic medicine, we talk a lot about the throat chakra and people getting diseases of the throat or larynx, etc., when they're not speaking their truth, or at least talking about their emotions, especially holding back on things, that energy that has been there for a long period of time, and it can put the body at disease. And as you don't know, if you look at Chinese medicine or Indian medicine, for example, or Vedic medicine, you'll see that the liver, for example, different organs can store different energy, and the liver, for example, can hold anger, the gut can hold grief, trauma, resentment, and etc. So having the body in a constant state of disease as you struggle to show your vulnerability can lead to issues which start off as a little issue, can then build into a chronic one later on down the line, and then if you're not dealing with it, a disease. And I think it's, I want to jump on this bandwagon of like be kind, because I think in general most people are kind. It's small group of people like tearing people down, and obviously it's a lot easier to people that don't do much. It's a lot easier to tear people down than to build up something. But if you're in the public eye, like this recent video that Daniel Cipriani did talking about his friend Caroline Flack, it can probably be very exhausting. It probably is exhausting to try and always appear to be immaculate, never have anything wrong, never do anything wrong, and it's madness really, because we're all human, we're all impulsive, we all make mistakes. I've made more than most, and so it's how we learn. As a baby, when they're younger, they're learning to walk. You don't fall down and then go, I'm never going to walk again. That's how they learn. They progress. And I think it's important for us to realise this. Sometimes they call it like this halo. They call it the halo effect. You get someone like an actress or a football player or someone who's in the public eye, and they're really good at one sport or really good at acting, whatever it is, and then everyone thinks that they should be immaculate. They forget that they're human. And this is true just throughout, it's true throughout whoever it is. And these people get put in the public eye and they think they can do no wrong, but they're just like all of us. And unfortunately, it seems like things like suicide it's like middle class and above that happens to. A lot of times people do it because they feel there's no way out, they feel shamed and embarrassed, and showing your vulnerability, in my experience, has been one of the best things that you could do. When I started doing these videos, for example, I think the first post I ever put up was 25 things you didn't know about me, and I was petrified, thinking, oh my god, people are going to laugh, and the amount of support I got from it was actually amazing. And then when I started these videos, some people made comments, etc., and I wasn't very good at them, but once again, it's how you learn, and if you're going to do anything in life, you're going to have to take the knocks, because failure is just the best lessons. There's no failure, it's just lessons to learn how you get better at anything. And showing your failures, showing your mistakes, it allows other people to grow as well. It's one of the reasons why I post pictures of how I used to look, how I used to feel, what I went through, because by showing your scars, you can allow other people to feel like, oh, they're not alone, which I think is a hugely powerful thing to do. Because a lot of people, that talk about neuroscience, you've got 3 different parts of our brain. You've got the reptile, which is all about fight, flight, fornicate, basic instinct. Then you've got human part, which is all your dreams. But the middle part, the mammalian brain, it's all about hierarchy and never getting extradited from the herd. Because if we did do that back in the day, you'd been on your own and you probably would have died. So we've been built in to not do things, that might extradite us from a herd. And the ego is a powerful thing. It's necessary, and it can be extremely good in terms of pushing us forward. But it also has a dark side, and that is not wanting to show where we have perceived weakness. But in truth, the only things that can actually take away from you, or any things that can actually leave you vulnerable, the things you don't share. There's a great marketer out there. I think it was J. Abraham. I'm not sure if he talks about making your skeletons dance. I did a video a couple of years ago. I went to Bratislava on a stag do, and we got attacked by these bouncers, and I had a black eye, and I could have easily shied away and gone no. But I thought, I'm going to come on here and tell you exactly what he did, and I actually made a thing about how I've got the information down in 3 or 5 days. And I could have easily hid away from that, and then someone could have said, oh, now this happened when you was away one time. But it's just easier just to tell people the truth and come out. And when you do that, it's amazing how much support you'll actually get from people, because not everyone can resonate, or not everyone understands or has experienced success, but everyone has experienced struggle or going through something that's tough. And so showing your vulnerability, I think it's an extreme strength because it can help other people, and they say problem halved is a problem, problem shared is a problem halved. And there are people out there that love you, that will want to help you. Reach out to loved ones, and this is why it's so important to keep your circle full of people that you trust, because obviously there are people out there that don't clap when you win or don't want you to do well, and that's why my post I put earlier has got quite a lot of traction. Try and step away from those people. Surround yourself with people who you always feel that when you leave them, you feel better about yourself. They're maybe passionate. They're ambitious. They're positive people. As I said before, misery loves company. So it's important. And if you share your problem with someone you trust, they're going to have your best interests at heart. They're going to help you get through that. And everyone goes through periods of feeling up and down. It's nature. Nothing's ever static. It's why we have summer. It's why we have spring, winter, and autumn. You've got different seasons, and so you can't always be on the up. Sometimes you're going to be down, but it's natural. And sharing your vulnerability, whether it be like something that happened to you, maybe something physical or something mental, emotional, or my best friend died when I was 17. I was a wreck. They pushed my body into a chemical and emotional response, and it led to me having crippling skin issues that went on to have cysts and keloid scarring. I didn't take my shirt off for 7 years because I was afraid of what people would say about me and my body. I didn't go on a date. I didn't want to sleep with a girl or be intimate with a girl because of it. And I know what it's like to hold that back, and that just made me ultimately led to things being worse, because I hid away rather than showing it. And now I love talking about it because I know other people going through the same thing. I get messages all the time from people saying, oh my God, I didn't know you could heal from this. It's like, you just have to come at it from a different perspective. And so, if you are going through something, then please do reach out to someone, or someone that, someone close to you that loves you. If it's a health issue, give me a shout, or someone else you resonate with, whatever it is. But know that things aren't, people have been through this, things always change, and certain things, once you can do what the camera reflected, unfortunately, there's no coming back from it. But there's always light at the end of the tunnel. You just got to come at things from a different perspective. And when you hold into things on your own, you don't share them, you can start to create a story in your mind and going over and over that story that isn't actually true. Look into the work of Peter Crone, Peter C-R-O-N-E, Peter Crone, or Byron Katie. She's got great work. It's actually called The Work. When you start doing work on yourself, and it's that, is that actually true? Who would you be if the story in your head, if you stop telling you the story in the head that isn't actually true? Because it's amazing what you can actually do and become, and etc. once you actually stop telling yourself the narrative that isn't true. And so, and being vulnerable, I said before, it's a completely normal thing. As men, you're told, boys don't cry, or you don't cry at movies. I can cry like a girl, but be careful these days. I could cry a lot at a movie. It just shows you're emotional. It's a part of the masculine and feminine. You're not all masculine, you're not all feminine. You've got a divide in it, and it's showing that you actually care. It shows that you're human, and being vulnerable and being open and making mistakes. It's just all part of the human experience that we learn from. So, if you are struggling with anything like that, please do reach out to someone, because they will be able to help you. And as I said before, people love you out there, and they're going to want to help. And trying to be perfect all the time is exhausting. I know we live in a world of instant gratification and Instagram and etc. But it's just I mean, we all go through those periods where we don't look great, we don't feel great, or something's happened, you know, whatever it is. You lose someone, you lose someone close to you, someone's ill, and you need support. And it's okay to feel down. It's all part of, so before, the human experience. It's all part of the showing who you are and that you actually have feelings. Which is, you know, if you try and, it's almost like when you don't show your feelings or don't allow yourself to feel vulnerable, it's almost like eating a big ball of negative energy that never gets to disperse, and that can hold in your body. So I say to people now, like, when you think about eating good, quote unquote, good or bad food, think about actually having positive energy going into your body, like good light or negative energy. And when you don't actually release that, then that can become an issue, and it can manifest both mentally, emotionally, and physically. And it's why exercise is great. Obviously, communication, doing things like mental emotional tasks like journaling, discovery walks, having a purpose in life. All these things are huge, and it's why I always talk about the holistic approach, because when you look at life as a whole, you know, we talk about the 4 doctors. Dr. Diet, all about the food you eat, how they can impact your body, your mental and emotional state. Dr. Quiet, about having time for introspection and actually thinking and things through thoroughly. It's like meditation or just journaling or going for walks. You talk about Dr. Happy, doing things that make you happy and your purpose, and spending time with loved ones. It's hugely part of it. And then, yeah, we've got Dr. Exercise, Dr. Movement, you know, getting the right amount of intention exercise. All those things help. And you said before, having that support group around you is massive. So challenge this week, or just from now on, is if you are vulnerable about something, go and share it with someone that you trust to start with, and then open up and see how your vulnerability can actually make an impact in other people's lives, because it will do. I guarantee it. Once you start showing your perceived weaknesses, which are actually not, then it's amazing the impact you can have on other people as well as your own life. As always, guys and girls, as I said before, if you are struggling with a health issue and you want help, give me a shout. Send me an inbox on here, or send me an email at ryan@reviveyourself.co. But yeah, it's my challenge for you this week is to show your vulnerability and watch how it makes an impact. Otherwise, as always, onwards and upwards we go. Stay happy, stay healthy. I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.